Hi guys, welcome. Ooh, we're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna do a quilling kit by Katy Design. We've got those that we have had come in. We hadn't tried any of them on air yet, so we decided we'll go ahead and give those a shot and see how they are to work with. And I think that will be fun. I started playing with it a little bit last night to get some of my pieces done ahead. So I have no idea what that is. Anyway, I don't think these were together. That's why. Okay, this is what we're going to work on today. The Traditional Christmas by Katy Designs. We're going to work on this Christmas tree first, and we'll see where we get to from there. So I see Irene and Thelma. I see Glenn. Hello, Glenn. Good to see you, friend. There's Annette. Hello, hello. Ooh. It is nice and cool out in the Pacific Northwest, beginning to feel like nice fall weather, which I, for one, love. I like it when it's cooler. And so, kind of straightening up my pieces because I had them on the other table and I moved them all over here, so everything got kind of messy, but that's okay. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and bring the camera down. Have a nice shot of water before we get started here. Whew. Thirsty this morning. So everybody's been asking what's going on, and not tomorrow, Monday, we have a meeting with the medical oncologist who is going to start hormone therapy. No chemo for me. Chemo would be of limited value, so we're not doing chemo. Going straight to hormone therapy, and then let the tumor shrink a little bit before they take them out, and then we will be moving forward with the hysterectomy that we had talked about before. So that's what's going on. And so I'm feeling enthusiastic about that. I just wanted things to move forward. So I'm happy to hear that they are moving forward. And I don't mind taking a pill a day for 5 years. That's what I'm told I'm going to need. So just one added to a collection of others I take. Okay, today we are going to work, as I said, on this tree. And I want you to notice the shapes in the tree. A lot of times people say that quilling just looks too hard because it looks so involved, but it's not hard at all. It's amazingly not hard. We are going to use just four different patterns to make this entire tree. So let's take a look at what we're going to do first. Let's work on the branches. I want you to notice in this pattern book, they actually did a really nice job in the patterns. And they actually also have, according to their book here, you can watch an online tutorial from them too. So you got this covered really well. Just go out to Katy Sue Designs and click on the quilling video series, and you can see them do these as well. So one thing I love about the way they're doing this pattern, come in a little bit extra, honey, is that they're providing all the, whoa, that's a long ways. There we go. But they're providing all the paper in the kit, And so I already have all these colors in the kit. And each one of the colors is identified here. It's got a color name, and then they tell you how many pieces you need that are how big. So the tree trunk, for example, it said they wanted it to be 28 centimeters. Um, so, hi, Adeline. 28 centimeters. And the branches are 25 pieces that are 7.5 centimeters long. So I have the easiest measure I had available was my scoreboard. It's all done in centimeters. So I brought that over to use as my ruler. So let's get started here. One of the things that they said I needed was some pieces that were 15 centimeters long. It's also known as 6 inches. And I'm just using this quilling tool. You can tell this quilling tool has a little slot in the end of it. See right there? You see that? I know it's hard to hold it still enough for you to see that little slot. It has a slot in the end of the tool, and that's where I feed my paper through. And I bring it up to the end of my paper, and then I just start twisting. Just going to twist right around that little needle point. Until I wind up that 6-inch piece. I'm going to take it off my needle, off my quilling tool, and I'm just going to let that open a little bit. I don't have to let it open to a specific amount. I'm just going to let it open to what it wants to open to. I'm going to take my glue bottle, and I'm going to put just a little bit of glue at the end of it. And I'm going to fold that over. That is what's known as a coil. If I did it tight and didn't let it loosen up, it would be a tight coil. That's what these little pieces are. This one. Hi, Catherine. So this is a loose coil. See how it has some space inside? Now with these, we want to turn them into teardrops. And what I like to do is wherever I just glued that piece, that's where I like to squish it. So I'm going to come up here where I had that piece that I just put on, and I'm going to squish it right there. And this becomes a teardrop. And that's what I'm using to make my branches. So let's do another one of those. Feed it into my tool. And just twist it. And take a little bit of my glue. Put it on the end of the piece. You don't need much. Using Cosmic Shimmer glue. That's always my favorite for quilling. With my little needle nose glue bottle. And there, right there where I joined that piece to my circle, I just squished it a little bit on the end, and that gives me my teardrop. Goes from an open coil or a loose coil to a teardrop. Let's do another one. I pre-cut a bunch of my pieces so you guys won't have to sit and watch me cut the paper. Could you dig me out a red piece of cardstock, please? Don't have to have it. It is optional, but I like to have a little border around plain cards. So I take my coil, let it open up just a little bit, glue my end, and where I've glued my end, I'm going to squish it right there between my finger and my thumb. And hi, Elsie. Good to see you, friend. Still need to cut a few more of these, but almost have enough cut to put our tree together. And this around my tool. Just wind it and wind it and wind it. You can see I'm just kind of using my finger and my thumb to keep it moderately tight on there. I slide my coil off. That's my tight coil. If I glued it just like that, that'd be a tight coil. But I want it to be a looser coil, so I'm just going to let go of it a little bit and let it open up a tad. And I'm going to put a little glue on it. Right there where I glued it. I'm going to pinch it. And I have a nice, let's see how nice and uniform those are being. They tend to open up to about the same amount each time. Hi, Sharma. Good to see you guys. Love to see all my friends. Been looking forward to talking with you. Seems like now that we don't do Thursdays, it's a long hitch sometimes between times where we're actually doing crafting. And then Margie has handled some of the What's New Wednesdays for me, so I feel like I've been here less. November 26th, Catherine goes to Scotland. What an adventure, Catherine, you're going to have. What an adventure. We were talking about Kelso, Scotland, and Kelso, Washington being sister cities. I didn't really realize just how much that was true until I thought about the city of Kelso. The city of Kelso, our high school mascot was a Scotland Highlander. It was a Scotlander in a kilt and playing bagpipes. That's pretty Scotland. Yeah, I bet you are a little scared and excited, but more excited than scared, probably. Just a really different experience. It's wonderful that you get to do that. Anytime we head out for something new and different, it's got to be a little scary, but that's part of where the excitement comes from. Yeah. So all that time when I was going to Kelso High School, I really wasn't thinking about them being connected with Kelso, Scotland. But it's true. So when I'm up in my hometown of Kelso, my sister still lives there. When I'm up in my hometown of Kelso, I'll be sure and think of you while I'm there. Okay, so we made about 6 of those little coils there. Now they wanted us to have some that were 5.5 centimeters, and that's what these pieces are. These are just little pieces. I'm winding those up around the tool. Oh, wouldn't it be fun to play the bagpipes? I love the bagpipes. I don't know if it's because we were sister cities of Scotland or why, but we have a couple bagpipers in the city of Kelso, and one of them played at my dad's funeral. And everybody was doing really well at the funeral until the very end when the bagpiper came in, and then everybody lost it because it was just such a precious moment when the bagpiper was playing. So I'm winding this up. If I just pull it off, when it's all tight, it's a tight coil. I'm just like the other ones, I'm letting this loosen up just a little bit. Now, it's only a little tiny piece of paper, see there? So even though I'm letting it loose, it's not getting real loose because it's just a short piece of paper. That's the two ways you can kind of control the size, is you can control the size by the length of the paper that you use and how tight you make it. So now we're getting these little pieces. I don't know if I'd have the wind to play the bagpipes, really. It seems like it would be a demanding instrument. Well, if you're feeling anything like I'm feeling, you're nervous for the elections to get here, but you will be so glad when the elections are over. I, for one, am ready to see the political ads stop. I, for one, am ready to have the tension and nervousness about the whole thing over. I hope things work out the way I want them to, but, just to be done. Is the rest of the world catching their breath about the American elections too, Catherine and Elsie, or is it just us? Don't really want to comment on political candidates in this forum, but just the general tension about, we just have some very, very different and distinct choices to make this time. And it seemed to cause a lot of tension for a lot of people this time. I've talked to a lot of people who say they're not sleeping nights till it's over.
Annette's sister-in-law just came back from an Alaska cruise.
An Alaskan cruise, that would be fun. We need to do that sometime, honey. We're right here where the Alaskan cruises take off. After the political ads is back to pharmacy ads. That's true. Pharmacy ads for Medicare and Medicaid, right? And we didn't listen to those until like the second week in December. So much uncertainty, so very different the candidates are. So I, for one, will be glad to have that done. I don't know how you're feeling about that, but I'm one of those not sleeping well people. So anyway, it's going to be good to be done with the politics for a while. Pretty much takes us a whole year to elect a president, and so we get so involved and so engrossed in that process by the time that we're done. It is amazing. I can't imagine that so many countries do this in so much less time than we do. Lots of people do it in less time. Oh, you told me you wanted to be dropped off in Oregon? Cool. We'll look for you. I've told you guys that when we retire, one of the things I want to do is travel the country, and I'm quite serious about coming to see some of you. Yeah, they probably left from Seattle, I'm sure. That's where most of those cruises take off from. When they go into Seattle and take off on that cruise, they're very near where my daughter lives. She lives right there in the Olympic Peninsula area. Yeah, neighbor 2 doors down has a flag I'm not particularly fond of, but to each his own. We're all welcome there in San Diego. Well, when I get ready to plan my trip, I want to just head out. We'll make some plans with a few people and head in a general direction, and then let some of you know when we're getting close, and if it's convenient to meet for pie or a crafting time. Wouldn't that just be fun? I think that would be just great fun. Stop by, knock on Thelma's door. Hi, I'm here. That would be just great fun. And I can't think of anything I would enjoy more than that. We're getting closer and closer to that happening. Bryce told his folks at work he's retiring in February of 26. Yeah, I agree. Sharma, I'm afraid it might not be over, but we'll see. Let's all give out happy thoughts and hopes for that we can have a nice civil turnover. Wouldn't that be nice? That would be good. Like we're used to in the US. That would be a beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. He walked out and stood in Georgia and Tennessee at the same time. There's one place in Oregon that you can go to you're standing on the corners of Idaho, Oregon, and Washington at the same time. Kind of cool. In the Wallowa Mountains in eastern Oregon and Washington and western Idaho. That's really fun to be able to say you've done those things. We live right where we have the 45th parallel? What is the parallel line that runs by us that we see the signs for every time we go to the beach?
I don't.
We go across one of the parallel lines, and I always think that's kind of cool to say, wow, we're sitting at an important compass point right this minute. Travel. I look so much forward to travel. One of my places I have to travel to. Oh, that would be fun too, Deborah. The time zones. Yes, it would. It'd be fun to stand in 2 different time zones. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. No, it's 12 o'clock. No, it's 1 o'clock. I feel that way twice a year anyway, but thank you, Elsie. For any of those of you who just came in, because I kind of announced this a little early, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about cancer because that's not what we're all about. We're about giving hugs and thoughts and warm wishes and prayers to each other. But I'm doing fine. I'm doing absolutely fine. As long as we can keep things moving forward, then I am feeling fine about things. We caught it early and it's all good, but we're meeting with a doctor on Monday to start hormonal therapy. And I'll have to take a pill for 5 years. I can deal with that. They want to shrink the tumors and then they'll do surgery. And since I have to have the other surgery that I was planning on having earlier anyway, I think they'll do the hysterectomy while they're waiting for the cancer to get smaller. So that's what's happening. I'm doing fine. Honestly, just the only times I get really antsy is when things stop moving forward. And then I get very impatient. On one hand, don't tell me I got this icky disease and then tell me there's nothing I need, nothing's happening on it. That's when I get. Oh, Arizona has a 4-state spot. I love that, Sharma. That's when I get contrary. I gotta tell you guys, so I love going to the arcade. There's an arcade right here in town that is fun. It's actually an arcade kind of made more for adults than kids. And I have decided I really like going to the arcade and playing and blowing stuff up, And when I get nervous or stressed about things, I tell Bryce, we got to go to the arcade now. We're headed for the arcade. And off we go. You wouldn't believe how many points I have at this arcade. Jordan was here last weekend and she suggested we go. Okay, let's go to the arcade. When we finished playing and cashed in our points, we walked into the little gift store there. I said, "You see anything you want?" She said, "Yes, I want that Lord of the Rings purse right there." And I said, "The Lord of the Rings purse?" She said, "Yeah, do you have that many points?" I said, "Yeah, I could buy 3 of them." I have a lot of points on my points card. They have rock wall climbing and that kind of stuff, so they give you tickets to some of those in some of the machines, and the prizes that you get instead of other things. You get tickets to rock wall climbing or footlong hot dog or other kinds of things. And I haven't been able to convince Bryce to climb the rock wall, so and I'm sure not going to do it. So we've been able to give some of the other kids at the arcade tickets to climb the rock walls and things. I have one for laser tag. I don't think either Jordan or Lauren are going to do it unless Jake's here. But if Jake's here, he's going to want to shoot at his wife. I got a t-shirt for him for Christmas on Temu that says, "Thanks for being my son-in-law and for not selling my daughter to the circus." I know it has to be tempting sometimes, but I appreciate that you haven't done it. You see what I'm doing with these little pieces, guys? Taking one of the smaller, lighter green pieces and putting on either side of these bigger teardrops we did, and that's making our little branches for our tree.
Hi, Mary R.
Hi, Mary R. Thanks for not selling her to the circus. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on Temu and whether or not it's a safe place to shop. I'm not endorsing it. I do have a lot of fun shopping on there, but I'm not endorsing it to you or saying it's safe. But what I have chosen to do is if I shop on Temu, I shop using PayPal, and I haven't had any trouble. Because in PayPal, they don't get to know your card number. So that's what I do when I'm shopping somewhere I don't know. Just FYI, in case you wonder. Make another one of these little things. I'm going to lay this out a little bit and see how we're doing. I want to talk to you about how we make some of these other shapes here too. Okay, do it tight and let it go. Let it unwind a little bit. I know it's hard to see these little tiny pieces. I'm sorry about that, but and I'm doing the same thing. When I glue it, I squish the end that I glued. It just keeps the reason I say that I squish the end that I glued is that it keeps the little tab from where you're gluing it over from sticking out in some other. That's where I got the shirt that says, "My girls laugh because they think I'm crazy. I laugh because I don't know it's hereditary." That's where I got that shirt. And a new one I don't know I've worn to class yet that says, "I don't have gray hair, I have wisdom glitter." Wisdom glitter. I love that. I have all kinds of fun ones. wisdom glitter. Okay.
Sharma needs to go to Timu AA.
You're
So as
funny, Sharma.
Deborah, I'll send a ticket.
You
She can go together.
can go down the rabbit hole on Timu. Yes, you can. That's fun, though.
Yeah. Number of Timu packages that show up. You know you're having fun.
Okay, for the little ornaments on our tree, we have these little short red and yellow. They're kind of red and golden pieces. I'm coiling them tight, and then I'm just gluing them tight. So I'm not letting these loosen up. I'm just gluing the end and leaving it in a little circle. I have to say, I try to be really honest with you guys about all the products that we test online and that we look at. I'm not a huge fan of the papers that come with this kit. The papers don't glue quite as well as my Quilt Creations papers do. But you know, you get the pattern, you get the papers, you get everything to do the kit, and then you can save the pattern and do it again with Quilt Creations papers. So it doesn't take the glue quite as well as my Quilt Creations papers do. That's my one criticism. And, well, I guess there's two. And the papers are different weights. So like when you get cheap kits off of Amazon or something where you're quilling, and you can get one piece of paper that's tissue, that's, you know, just the weight of tissue, and then you can get another one that's the weight of cardstock. This is kind of like that too. These dark green ones are really thick. They're like cardstock. And the gold and the red are more like normal quilling papers. The green is too, but they just don't absorb the ink as well as my Quilt Creations papers do. So just something to know about it. I'd still recommend trying the kits because they have some charming patterns in the kits. I like some of the quilling dice too, Deborah. So with these, since they don't grab the ink as well as the Quilt Creations papers do, it's not a bad idea to keep your thumb on it for a second and then go ahead and squish it. Okay, it looks like I have used up most of the pieces that I have pre-cut. I have enough of these little ornaments already, so I did go ahead and do this in advance. And let me tell you how I did this, because this is really easy too. To make the tree trunk, I took that 28 centimeter paper, I folded it in half, and I glued the two pieces together, and then I just ran any air out. So I have a nice firm trunk for my tree. I glued that to a little triangular box that I created down below. And that's done. If we look, it's done exactly the same way. You cut the strips to the length indicated. You do a coil with the red. You press it out into a teardrop. And I took 3 teardrops, 1, 2, 3, lined them up side by side and glued them together. So that's another teardrop. And then I took a piece of red and I bordered that all the way around. So I just made a little box for that. And you can use that to make this your tree base as boxy or as triangular as you want. I was pleased with this one. It's just about what I wanted. Now I do think my tree trunk is going to be longer than I need, which is fine. Then when I look at my pattern, I find that we're going to put some branches on our tree. I'll look at my photo to make sure I'm putting them in a good spot. And they kind of have them sweeping up just a little bit. So I'm going to start it here. I'm just going to put glue on my base of my piece. And I'm going to fit it right into the side there. My glue is going to dry clear, so I'm not going to worry if it looks white right now. That doesn't matter. And I'm going to put some on my other side. Put a branch coming out on the other side. So let's see. I'm going to kind of sweep that up a little bit more too. So it's kind of curving just slightly upward. I'm going to put some ornaments on that. So take a little piece of my red here, put a little dot of glue on it, and slide it right into my branch. This will be a good job for tweezers. I'm always saying that. What did I do with all my tweezers? I need to have about 47 pairs of them sitting here at any given point in time. I think they're on the other table. The purple ones. And why is it a good job for tweezers? Because it keeps getting stuck to my fingers. Thank you, honey. He's such a nice guy. Oops. That didn't do much for me. Okay. Get my glue on it again. Take it in my tweezers and put it on there. Amazing how that works. So I've got the little red ball. And put one of these little golden balls on the next join up there. Right in there. I can put some on the other side too. I could do this job here, just gluing on top of my piece of glass, which I've opted to do. Or if I wanted to, I could pin these to one of my quilling boards. They tend to hold pretty well when you get them done. So I'm not too worried about just working on my glass mat. So much easier with tweezers. My goodness. I'll put my little balls right up in the branches of my tree. Now I'm going to put another one. These branches I have glued together 3 pieces at a time. To glue them together, I'm just going to put Everybody got your Christmas list, right? Because they've been sent out. And I'm just going to glue that right to the end of this little strip. I do find I have to use a little bit more glue with this paper, but just fine. Glue's cheap. More down to earth than most people, Elsie. That's cute. I like that. So I'm going to take 3 of these. I made all these singles. And you might find that green paper, the dark green paper, like I said, is a little thicker. So you might find that you want to squish those out a little bit more and make the branches just a little bit longer. Because when you squish them into a tear shape, they tend to be a little shorter. So you can make those longer by squishing them out a little bit more. And I'm just gluing the dark green to the join of the light green and dark green pieces. Just glue the next one there. I'll let those sit for just a minute and tack. So I've got another 3-piece branch there. I've got another one there. Then I want some 2-piece branches on my tree. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Not fun, or not short your fun size. That's what Margie says all the time too. Poor Margie works in a shop full of tall people here. Brittany's the shortest of us, and other than Margie, and Brittany's like 5'8", so she can reach things around that Margie just can't. Margie just moves her step stool from room to room. Try and keep up with what all tall people are doing to her. Okay, so these should be ready to glue on. So I'm going to position this so that I've got my branch kind of sweeping up a little bit on this side too. I'm going to glue on the end here. Oops, I came and glued. Didn't leave it quite long enough, did I? You see, I'm getting glue all over my glass mat. No problem. Take a... Well, it's still wet. I could take a baby wipe and just wipe it off. But if it sets there, I take a piece of a razor blade and just slide across there, and I got it fixed in no time. Okay, this one wants a little red bead on the side. That's not where it's supposed to be. There we go. There we go. This kit makes 2 each of the items in the kit. I'll show you those again in a minute. I don't know if we'll have time to do more than one. We'll see. A little red ball there. I'll take my set of 3 leaves and come out the other side. And they just are, the branches are just across from one another in this kit. A little glue on here. Match those. And get one of my little golden ornaments. It's just a tight circle. Again, you just don't let it unwind. It's just a tight circle. And you glue it off. Glue the end on. Stop it. This time, even with the tweezers, it's giving me a hard time. Put a little more glue on there. Now, right up between the branches. That's looking good. And I've got these little 2-piece ones. I'm going to come up above here. Put my 2-piece ones on. And get one of the little gold ones. Put a little glue on the side. Cats are so much fun at Christmas time. So far, Teddy hasn't been too interested in the tree. Of course, we've always had cats that kept him interested rather than the tree itself. And this year we have no cats, so I don't know if he'll manage to get in trouble with the tree or not. Just in case, we have unbreakable ornaments on the bottom. Add this piece. Here to the side, sweeping it up just a little bit, just slightly. Put a red one on the other side here. I might be in trouble if you did that, Thelma. Better not do that. Margie brought home that I think I told you, or I think she told you, that she moved to a farm, and it is in every conceivable way a farm. And they brought home a feral cat to be a barn cat, and that, not knowing that that feral cat was pregnant, and soon they had kittens. And then she called and made reservations to get her to take them to the free spade and neuter clinic, but they had a waiting list. So when she made contact with them, they told her that, oops, I gotta have one more short piece here. They told her that she was going to have to wait. Well, then the mama cat had kittens again, and so did one of the babies. And now they have, I don't even know how many cats they have, about a dozen. But she loaded them all up the other day and took them to the spay and neuter clinic, so they should stay at that number now, hopefully. I'm going to show you, Mary. Let me show you. This is the kit we're working in. Back up a little, honey. It makes 3 different designs. We make the tree. This is what I'm working on now. And we have this candle, which is very charming. And it has these little angels that are super cute. And the kit makes 2 of each of the cards, so you get 6 cards out of the kit. Isn't it cute? I have another one that I'll show you in a minute here that's a second design in their kits from Katy Sue. Second Christmas design. I told Lynette this one online, but I don't know if I have said it to you guys online. What do you call a cow that won't stay in milk? I sent this one to Lynette. What do you call a cow that won't stay in milk? We got two jokes going. How can you tell if an ant is a girl? I have no clue how you can tell if an ant's a girl. Answer to mine is that's true, Mary. A steer? Nope. But that's a good try. A bull? Nope. What do you call a cow? A female cow that won't stay in milk. Not carrying her load.
Dinner.
Bryce says dinner. A milk dud or an utter disappointment. A baby cow. A milk dud. Or an utter disappointment. I heard that one. I thought, oh, that's a great Annette joke. So I had to fire it right off to her. How can you tell if an ant's a girl, Annette? Oh, if she gets pregnant, that would definitely be one way to tell. They're all girls, otherwise they're uncles. I actually thought of that, didn't say it. That's funny. Whew. Okay. I have to make a couple more little leaves here. Just 3, I guess. I'm going to get one of my long strips here. Since these strips are 18 inches long, I get to cut 3 6-inch pieces from one strip. And each strip is 15 centimeters long, which is 6 inches. I put it on my scoreboard and I mark it at 15, and I tear them apart. Whoops. Looks like I had 2 strips there, but that's okay. I'm going to make more trees anyway. Okay, I need 3 more branches. This one is my 6-inch one on the heavier paper. So I'm just going to roll it into a tight coil, and then I'm going to let it open up a little, and I'll glue it. We love you too, Annette. Okay, I'm going to make 3 more of these pieces. You can see me just hold it between my finger and my thumb as I wind it up. Make my tight coil and glue it at the end. Hold it there for just a second because this paper doesn't glue quite as well. And then smash it on one end, make a teardrop. Need 1 more of these, and I need 6 of the little ones. I'm glad you love quilling. Quilling is fun. It looks so detailed and it looks so difficult, and it's so very easy. We have our quilling club, still meets once a week. Everybody has kind of developed to a point now where instead of having a class assignment to work on, I have one if people can't figure out what to do. But for the most part, excuse me, for the most part, people just take off and do their own things now, which is cool. Everybody's working on something different. We all wander around the room and look and see what everybody else is doing. That's fun. It's been fun to watch because sometimes people will see something online or in a magazine or something, and they'll decide to try and replicate that. And when they do, they write down their instructions for everybody to use. And that's fun. So they kind of share instructions with each other. Very fun group. It's funny because we have so many people in Quilling Club now that I think if they all showed up on the same night, we'd be pressed to find a place at the table for everybody. But it all works out because we never have everybody there at one night. So we have some nights and some other nights. But every Wednesday we do quilling. And it's great fun. Then on Fridays, we do something we call Crafty Friends. And you guys can do this where you are, and it's actually great fun. You just have to have a large enough space available for people to sit around a table. And everybody brings their own thing if they want to work on. And we bring snacks to share if we want to. And everybody just works on their own thing. But every Friday night, a group of friends comes together and crafts together. It's called Crafty Friends, and we just do it just for fun. We meet here because I have lots of table space available. But you could do that at your own home and invite friends over for crafting night and just kind of create a weekly crafting time. Crafting's so much more fun with all your friends. Heard some of you say who live alone that they don't necessarily always have friends over to craft, but they'll put on my videos and hear my voice while they're crafting, doing something entirely different, but have company that way. That's cool too. Just more fun with friends. So these are my little branches. They're 5.5 centimeters, just a little over 2 inches. Oh, that's unfortunate, Mary. That'll be fun, Deborah. You know, one of the things you can do too, there's a website called Meetup. You can look on Meetup for your area, meetup.com, and they will tell you about crafting groups and painting groups and different things in your area. And I advertise our Crafty Friends groups on there. So every few weeks we have a new person join us, and that's fun because there's constantly people coming in and going out. And again, if they all showed up at one time, we would be at a deficit for space, but it works out. Oh, salad for the pizza party and baking cookies. That sounds like an important job, Annette. You can't have your cookie maker falling down on the job. Salad, cookies, yeah. Sounds like a Weight Watcher, doesn't it? Okay. Just about done with our tree, guys. We're getting really close. I think we'll just make the tree today, but we will look at the other patterns and we'll talk about what kind of shapes they're using so everybody can be familiar with all the shapes. It's so easy, though. You've seen it. We got tight coils, loose coils. Glue a loose coil and pinch the end. It becomes a teardrop. Pinch both ends and it becomes a marquee, kind of a diamond shape. So super easy. Gonna go see Dad today?
I was thinking so.
Yeah.
Maybe save tomorrow for a movie.
Yeah, could be fun. I usually have classes on Sundays too, but our calendar got a little messed up by not knowing what was in store for me last month. And then we got to the end of the month and I didn't have a new calendar put together. So finally decided we're just going to put our calendar together, and then if we have to change it, we'll change it. But it's hard to know what's happening in my life, what days I'm going to be incapacitated, and I've decided that waiting on doctors to tell me that is just stressing me out. So I'm just going to put my calendar together and then we'll change it as necessary. We have lots going on around here all the time. Every single week we have quilling class and crafty friends. And then every Sunday we have longer crafting classes. They run from usually 2 to 5, occasionally, depending on what we're doing, 2 to 6. We craft all day on Sunday. And then I'm with you on Saturday mornings and with you on What's New Wednesday. So we have stuff happening just all the time around here.
Trees falling.
Oh, yeah. Well, so we got Milo, our goat, down below. Hey, you've heard about Milo over time. And yesterday, the day before yesterday, we had a windstorm, and it came down at night. That's true, Mary. Although Bryce tells me I have to stay busy. I don't have to have permission to be away from work, but I do. The boss does tell me I can't slack off. I can't become a slacker. Anyway, we had a windstorm night before last, and it blew a tree down on our fence down below. We live in such a nice a neighborhood of such nice people that how many people you think came up to the door yesterday? Maybe 4
total between the 2 days.
Between the 2 days, night before last and yesterday, Bryce had 4 different people come and tell him that the goat pen had been damaged because they didn't want Milo to get out and peruse the neighborhood. Milo's an old goat these days, though he's not really inclined to want to jump the fence and go wandering. If it happened that he could push his way right through, he would do that. But as long as there's anything he has to jump over, he's not. Yeah, I would be in trouble in a regular job. That's true, Mary, because I got 2 surgeries, and each one has a recovery period, actually 3 in total if you talk about reconstruction too. So it would be hard to deal with this if I wasn't self-employed. Don't have to worry about that part though. There's quite a few leave programs available now with FMLA, and then we have state leave programs, and we have paid leave in Oregon. Yeah, he sticks pretty close to home. He loves his licorice goat treats. Boy, does he love them. He's gotten very accustomed to getting them now, and he's never been a noisy goat, not particularly, but he sure has gotten noisy in the last few months, huh, Bryce? Demanding his treats.
Oh my gosh. He demands so much, he's hoarse.
He actually does sound hoarse sometimes because he's out there bleeding and carrying on and saying, "Bring me goat treats. I want them now." He's a funny old goat. We love him. He is a very cool goat. We're not positive how old he is, but we think he's in the neighborhood of 17 years old. And I was thinking about that the other night. He really is pretty close to 17 because Lauren was still small when we made the trip down to get him. Oh, I need 2 more. I have 2 singles. I'm supposed to have another row here. She was still small and she turned 25, so I think he really is in the area of 17. He's a cool old guy, though. He's fun. Our neighbors just love him. Do I think he gets lonely? Well, goats usually do not want to be alone. You want to have at least 2 goats. But when we lost Carmela, who was his companion, she had cancer, died a few years ago. We decided to see if Milo could tolerate being alone because we really kind of want to get out of we've had goats for years and years now. And, Bryce would like to get out of the hauling hay and breaking up ice in his water trough and all of that stuff that he does every day. And so we decided to not get another one and just see how he would do. And he's doing fine. I don't think he gets lonely. He wants Bryce and Teddy are his herd. So if he sees Bryce out around the yard, he will yell for Bryce to come. But I'm not sure if that's always because he's lonesome or because he wants goat treats. I think it's a combination of both. He's a bossy little boy. But he doesn't just yell most of the time unless he sees you out and around. Because he seems pretty happy. He has an igloo dog house that he sleeps in, and we've got a drop cord in there to keep him warm when it gets cold outside. He has a light bulb that heats his igloo dog house. A nice straw in his house to keep him warm. He has a pretty good life, all in all. Bryce's dad came when we first got Milo, and his sibling, and it's a fairly steep bank out there. Bryce's dad took big rocks and cut them into the bank so the goats could jump from rock to rock. And then he put some rocks around the outside of the entrance of the goat house, and we started calling it the Tajma Goat House. He had the best goat house going. Teddy does go inside the pen sometimes, although Milo doesn't necessarily like it because Teddy nips at his paws and stuff. But he likes Teddy to come visit him. He just doesn't like Teddy in with him. And Teddy has decided that he would think that running around would be interesting. So we're having to watch Teddy really close till we get the fence fixed down there, because he goes into the goat pen and then down to where the fence is broken, and he's an escape artist. He wants to go and bark at the neighbor dogs. Oh, Milo is very lovable, isn't he, honey? You scratch him and hug him, and he'll put his face right up to Bryce's face. It's cute, very sweet. So, yep, goats are very lovable. We like our goats. It'll be hard not to have them when we don't have them anymore, but I understand not wanting to haul hay every day. Teddy likes to run around with Milo when Milo's in the yard. Sometimes we'll let him into the yard, and Teddy likes to run around and chase with Milo. And sometimes they will go out and run the fence line together. Teddy will be in the yard, and Milo will be in the pen, and they'll run the fence line together. That's cute to watch. Now that Milo's going to be an old man, we don't see that quite as often. But when he's doing his celebration of summer or sunshine, he is definitely a fair weather goat. When the sun shines, he just comes to life and says, "Oh my gosh, look at that, the sun." And that's when he'll run the fence line and do that kind of stuff. It's really cute. Our sweet old man goat. We need to bring him up and give him another shot too, since the last shot was not real successful. Maybe tomorrow we'll bring him up. Both of us put on our old clothes, so when he gets the vitamins all over us, we won't stink. Okay. We're getting there, guys. Just a little bit left. Need 2 more clusters. So I wind them up in a tight coil, let it go. It's just a little short piece here. A little glue on the tab. Close it. We'll do it, Mary. I'll tell him. His crafty friend said hello. Oh, he loves his goat treats, Irene. Oh my gosh. We used to give him apple oatmeal cookies, and we've given them to him his whole life. Then when the vet was here last time, she said, you really shouldn't give him any grains because goats don't do well on grains. It can cause kidney problems. So we stopped giving him his apple oatmeal cookies and moved to goat treats. And oh, he is loving goat treats. He thinks that is just the cat's meow. It's like catnip to him, really. He just loves it. They're kind of licorice smelling. You glue these together, all the points should be down. Okay, I'm going to trim the top of my tree a little bit so I can glue the cluster right to the end of it. So I'm going to trim off my trunk a little bit. I'm going to put this one on the side. And I'm going to put one on top. Almost done with our little tree, guys. We still have a star to put on the top. Can you link this kit for me, please?
No, because I can't find it in your store.
You can't find it in the store? It's under Katy Lynn. Or Katy. Yeah, Katy Lynn Designs. Is it?
I looked today. I could not find it in your store.
It's there. It needs to be just a little shorter. There's our tree. Oh, yeah. I've heard people talk about their snakes laying out next to them and stuff. I think 2 things are happening there. One thing is the snake's getting your body heat. And the other one is snakes measuring up to see how long before he can eat you. No reptiles for me. No, no, no. Girls wanted reptiles. Didn't happen. There wasn't much they said they wanted over time that they didn't get in some form or another, but reptiles was one of those things, places I drew the line. No reptiles in my house. You have reptiles when you live in your own house. This one's mine.
So far, neither one has is have reptiles in their house.
That's true.
We've also said we won't be visiting with reptiles in your house.
That is true. We'll pick you up and we'll go to dinner, but we're not coming in. And we're certainly not staying if you have reptiles in your house. It is truth. It's so cute. Okay, now we got one thing left to do to our tree, and that is we need to make our little star for the tree. That's going to be made out of this golden paper, and it says that my star wants 5 pieces that are 7.5 centimeters long. So I have one longer piece there I can use. Get another one here. Yeah, reptiles. All right. So I'm going to measure these in my scoreboard. 7.5. Oops. That's glued together. That's not what I want. I'll keep that for my other things. Okay, 7.5 inch or 7.5 centimeters long. This really does work well for this. I can just mark it with my thumbnail at 7.5 inches and then tear them apart. For quilling, it's actually generally better to tear than it is to cut, because torn pieces will glue in more tightly than cut pieces will, because they're a little bit
fibers.
Fibrous, yeah. Good word. So just tearing this along my little score lines I put in it. Okay, I'm gonna make a different one this time, but it still starts the same way. I've got my gold, and I'm going to feed it onto my tool. A little tab at the end just folds under, and I'm going to roll it up. Yeah, you can't see the seam as well because of the fibers. Good, Glenn. Okay, roll it up in a tight coil. Let it loosen up as much as it wants to. Still small pieces of paper, so they're not going to loosen up too much. I'm going to glue my piece there. Hold it for a second, so hopefully it will not come unglued. I usually don't have trouble with them coming unglued, but this paper just doesn't hold the glue as well. Okay. Did I tell you guys Jake's home? I'm sure I did. Did I tell you guys? It turns out he wasn't out as long as we thought he was going to be. So Jordan's happy. Jake's home. Haven't seen much of her since Jake's home. See a lot of her when Jake's not home. Just closing that on the glued end, hoping that the glue will stay put. We need 5 of these. Oh, do you have that picture of Lawrence Village? We got to show you guys what Lauren's up to. Maybe you can describe the construction process, honey. Why she's doing it. Second, I can't take it till I get this out of my fingers. So, what is it we're going to be looking at?
Lauren's work is having a decorate your cube or your space desk area for Christmas. And she's gone perhaps a little overboard with the project. And she has designed her own gingerbread houses out of foam board. And then she's decorated them. And then she's added all kinds of decorations like little trees and candy cane walkways. And
what she used for her glue / decoration.
So she piped decorations all over the house using icing and spackle.
Not icing, white paint and spackle.
Okay. So she's done this.
To make her icing. Okay, you're going to have to come in on this a little bit. We'll get as close as we can. She sat here in the shop one day and cut these houses out of cardboard, took a ruler and some cardstock and built her house frames. And she taped them all together, took them home, untaped them, put the pieces, put all the pieces on foam board, and then painted the foam board brown to make it gingerbread. And then you can see all the work she's done on the piping on the roofs and the decorations. She said it was a bit of a challenge to get the spackle and paint configuration just right to give her the texture that she wanted without having it go flat on her. But isn't that amazing? She's bound and determined she'll win. We'll see. Isn't that something, though? Far be it from one of my children to not go crazy. They've learned that from their father to go overboard on everything. He's over there going, yeah, no, not me. Okay, one last one, and we'll have our... And she wanted to make it permanent so that it would last the whole season. And she didn't want to make it out of real gingerbread because she didn't want ants and bugs and co-workers coming and tearing the roof off things. So, gumdrops, that would have been good. But I think she actually wanted to make it out of materials that were not really food so that it would last through the season. Now with these, I'm pinching on both sides. Pinch on one side, I come in and I pinch on the other side, and I end up with what we're calling a marquee. See that? It's like an oat. Well, 5 of those. She would probably have to mix some of her spackle mix and make her gumdrops to stay in theme. But that is a good idea. Oops, I lost one. There we go. Okay, now we're going to glue these points together. To make a little star. Definitely going to need the tweezers for this operation. And let this sit for a minute because this is kind of precariously glued with just this one little nib at the end. I'll let that sit for a minute. Let's work on our card base. So in our kit, they sent us some card bases. We have to decide which one we want to use. I think we're going to want to use this one. But it's not any too big though, is it? I think I want the other size. I might actually put it on a slightly larger card because I wanted to trim it.
DL card.
I could use 5x7 too. I was going to put some ink on it so it wouldn't just be white. Their background is just white. But I was going to put some ink on it so it wouldn't be just white. And put down some red on here. I think I'm going to switch. I'm working on the white wallpaper background for my Christmas dies. I can't wait to see your cards this year, Glenn. I always enjoy seeing everybody's, but you are just so darn clever with what you come up with. Always amazing to see what you choose to do. Cover here. I'm going to make this 4 3/4 and 6 3/4. Slide you out of the way just a little bit. Card positioned here. This red down. And next layer. That was 4 3/4, so it should be 4 1/2. Well, maybe I'll just use this. Let's see what happens if I just use this size.
This upper corner is not down all the way. There you go.
I think I want that a little bigger. I'm going to cut myself another piece of cardstock. Go with a little bit bigger piece. I want this to be 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. Give me as much height as I can get. You don't have to make your own card. It would have been just fine to use the card that came with it, but you know me. I have to personalize it somehow. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And I should go ahead and put my ink on before I put it down. I want it to be white, so I put a little ink on it. Let me flip this over a bit because I got a little carried away with my ink in there. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Yeah, kind of heavy spot there. Take the extra off the other side. Just a little bit of color to it. Maybe just a little inking around the edges too. There's not much color on it, but I didn't want much. I just wanted enough that it wasn't white. I had visions of being able to finish multiple cards today. That just is not the case. Okay, but it is cute. It is very cute. Okay, that's the glue on the back. You guys have any questions on this one before we look at the other patterns in the kit? Super cute. Trying to bend over a little bit like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree there. Paula's not coming this weekend.
She was, but I don't think she is now.
Huh. There it is, guys. Our finished Christmas tree. Isn't it cute? I feel like I want another Christmas ball, like over here. Let's see if I have another little yellow one. I have a little piece of yellow. That will be just as good. After we finish this, we will look at the other patterns in the kit and see what kinds of shapes they're using and talk about how to get those. Well, there, got turned on its side and glued down. This one, tail's coming loose. There we go. And we got a few extra little ornaments on there. Isn't that cute? Okay, let's look at our kit and see what other patterns we've got here. Back up a little, please. Look at our booklet. Really nice instructions with these, I have to say. You are not going to have any trouble at all doing this kit. Our little tree done. There was our tree with all of our dimensions that we needed. That's actually the candle ones. This is the tree ones over here. And then to do the candle, let's look at the shapes in here. Perfect. Okay, so for the flower, we already know what to do because we're just going to make our flower petals and we're going to squish them on both ends to make a marquee, right? Then you're going to use a little tight yellow coil in the center on top. We've got our tight red coils for our berries. And then our holly, we're going to use 2 different colors of green. We're going to roll them into a coil. Now, these are a little longer pieces of paper. We're going to roll them into a coil. We're going to let that coil expand. And then we're going to press in kind of like we were going to do a teardrop. We'll push on one end, and then we're going to come in and we're going to push on the other end. And it would be like a marquee, except we're not going to squish it as hard. So we end up having that almost boxy shape. See that? We want it to look almost like a box, but we're going to, the amount you squeeze it would depend on whether it would turn into a marquee or whether it would turn into these little holly branches. And then you've got the candle is made all out of teardrops. See that? And then they're bending the teardrop down just a little bit at the end. We're going to use a circle. Now to get that circle, I'll show you what I would do. Oops, that's not quite long enough. I would grab something that's going to be about the size that I want that circle to be, and I would just wind right around it. There are tools for this. You can use the Border Buddies from Quilt Creations, but usually when I make a circle, I'm just going to take a piece of paper, I'm going to wind it around itself, and I'm going to glue it, and then I'm going to pull it off, and I'm going to have a nice circle made. So that's how I'm going to get my circle. If you want it to be a little heavier, you can double your paper, either wrap it twice or double your paper and then wrap it around. So if you want it to be just a little bit heavier, like the trunk of our tree was heavier, just wrap it around and glue it. And here is another teardrop in the center. So candle, super easy. So we're using one slightly different fold. This one we're just altering a tiny bit by taking those teardrops and kind of turning them into paisleys by pulling the point down a little bit. Now let's look at our angels. Come in a little closer on the angels, honey. For the open halos for the angel, I would do the same thing. I would wrap around my quilling tool and glue, and then kind of squish it a little bit so it's halo shape rather than a circle. You can see that her dress is made out of, now we're using some considerably longer pieces of paper here, but the dress is made out of teardrops. The wings are made out of teardrops. The face, well, the hair, let's talk about the hair first, is made out of little tight coils. And then to make the face, you're going to join together several pieces of paper, and you're going to wind it in a tight coil until you get a disc to become that face. Her little foot coming out from the bottom of her dress is just a teardrop shape. Her arm is a teardrop shape, and the trumpet that she's blowing, it looks like they've actually taken a teardrop. Oops, you can hold it still. They've taken a teardrop, and then they have wound a piece of paper around it and brought it out to a kind of a triangular end. So they're wrapping the teardrop and they're bringing out the paper around the teardrop and gluing it in place. See that? I hope I'm explaining that okay. So you get 2 of each of these. Just humor me and put in 42 in the search engine. Just want to see if we can get this. I know they're in there because I saw them in there. Okay, 42-QK 004. Oh, 0014, sorry. Enter. Search by relevance. Sort by relevance. Okay. I stand corrected. Maybe I have to push some more out from the store. Okay. Well, if these are in the store, I will make sure that they get pushed out to the store because I know we have some. I just had them bring them up to me last night. Okay, let's look at this one. This is the other Christmas kit we have from Katy Sue, and I just think this is adorable. Look at this. We can make a village. This one we're just doing kind of outline pieces. See that? We're going to make a big square. To get the square, you're just going to pinch it on 4 corners. And then they're doing that little half moon. To do the little half moon, I would put a little line of glue at the top, and then I would just hold my paper into it to get that little half moon shape on top of my square. The palm trees are marquees. The stems of the palm trees look like they could be doubled paper. Simple. To get these little window shapes, you're just going to flatten one side of the coil. You're going to flatten one side, and then you're going to kind of elongate the other side so that instead of pinching it, you're flattening it on one side to get those little archways. Here's our shepherds. Our shepherds are made out of those coils once again. You're going to join together several pieces of paper, and you're going to wind it up and wind it up and wind it up, and you're going to end up with this little half-inch disc that becomes their face. The cane or the hook is just a piece of paper that's just been shaped that way. We have the skirts of the robes are fairly long pieces of paper, and they are folded into a teardrop. Run a coil, let it loosen up quite a bit, as loose as it wants to go, and then shape it into a teardrop. These arms above there are taking a teardrop and going the other way, and then just kind of flattening one end of the teardrop to come up against the beard. Look at the little woolly boogers. That's what my mom used to call sheep, woolly boogers. Little loose coils for the lambs, sheep. Little rounds. They're just shaping them just a little bit from around. And these are more like marquees, but we're not pinching them hard. We're just shaping them. Did you find these kits in Katy Sue products, Mary? Because I thought they were there too. And then we have the cradle, which is just done using almost all marquees. Look at all these marquees. Teardrops. We're putting, it looks like marquees inside, and then we're wrapping the outside of that to have a square cradle. And then more marquees along the edge to be the straw, and marquees to be the bundle around the baby. And this is just kind of a shaped marquee for his face. And the little halo. And they're making little stars. They are listed. Okay, let's go to Katy Sue. So once again, you can watch the free videos for more instruction. Go down to brands. Our favorite brands is at the bottom. Keep going. Down, 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 down. Primary brands, that one. Katy Sue is alphabetic. And then we just have to kind of sort past the stickers till we get to the quilling kits. There's other quilling kits listed here too. There's this one. Yeah, the Nativity. It's $17.50 and you get 6 cards from it. And here is the Miniature Traditional Christmas. Let's link that one. It's $17.50 and you get 6 cards. We currently have 8 of them in stock. Once you have the patterns, you have the patterns forever. So I would recommend making these same things and making them out of Quilt Creations paper. That's a little better. And there you go. When we're finished here and we sign off, I want you to tell me whether you can see yourself potentially doing some quilling, or if you are already a quiller, or if you would be interested in trying it. And just talk to me about whatever you want to talk to me about, really. I read all the comments and I respond to most of them. And then I'd love it if you'd give me a thumbs up, if you would. The thumbs up makes me feel good, and it tells YouTube that this is a channel they can feel comfortable in recommending. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, because you don't want to miss anything we're up to. We're doing fun stuff all the time. Every week is something a little different. So I wish you guys a good, productive, safe week, and we will see you on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday. That happens at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll look forward to reading your comments and wish you all well. Love you. And signing off right now. Good night, Gracie.